Illinois Lawmakers continues now with Assistant Senate Republican Leader McClure of Springfield. Senator McClure is former prosecutor, served in the Illinois Senate since 2019. Good to have you back on the program and see you in person for a change.
Yeah, good to be back, Jak.
I'm sure it's everyone's guess at this point as we tick down, a clock ticks down to May 24th, which is the scheduled adjournment, as to what the Democrats are doing with the governor's budget. They've had some problems coming together, a meeting of the minds on exactly how they're going to pay for the governor's budget request. What are the Senate Republicans hearing?
We're just hearing the discussions are ongoing. We're trying to be involved with the discussions. We've got some folks that we've determined should be our budget leaders. Chapin Rose is our main senator on that, and so Chapin is trying to be involved as much as possible. And we're optimistic that we're going to have some influence over the budget, but it's too early to tell at this moment.
It has been, at least in the last couple of years, there seems to have been more Republican input on the budget, at least on the Senate side.
Yeah, I mean, the Senate President was coming in to meet with Senator Curran up to the very last moment before we voted on the budget. So I give President Harmon great credit for that. It's just unfortunate that at the end of the day, we couldn't reach a deal.
As you look at the things that you want to see in the budget for your district and overall for the state of Illinois, what would be some of the top priorities for the Senate Republicans?
Well, I would say one of the issues that we dealt with during the budget process was the Invest in Kids program. And we've got all these kids from lower income households that were getting these scholarships and staying in their schools. Now all of a sudden they've been kicked out of these schools, and I think that program should be looked at, and that's a big issue for all of us. And certainly crime is still a major issue, and certainly the drug problem that we've got in our state's a major issue, and those go hand in hand. So funding to help people get on a better path and to fight crime, I think those are two big issues.
One of the things I always like to do on the program is from time to time focus on bills that individual lawmakers come up with and where they come from, the ideas, where you get them from constituents or various things. One of the bills that has passed the Senate has to do with that terrible tragedy in Effingham County last year near Teutopolis involving the anhydrous ammonia truck. Tell us about that.
Yes, so that was a horrific accident where we had several people die, several people injured. People had to evacuate the area, and I've never seen anything like that before. And so after that horrific accident, I had some folks from Effingham County come to me and say, look, younger drivers in particular need to know what is out there on the roads, and the fact that you can have a fender bender with a vehicle that is containing hazardous materials, and that could be a severely deadly crash. And so for that reason, I filed a bill that will, if it passes the House, it's in the House now, that will make it so that in the rules of the road book that the Secretary of State produces, there has to be a instruction on these hazardous material placards that these trucks would have before they carry these materials. And if it's in the rules of the road book, it also gets taught in driver's ed classes. And so I think people just need to know how serious it is when you get into these crashes, especially with these vehicles with these hazardous materials.
There's another one that's passed the Senate that deals with the Department of Children and Family Services and kids who may be removed from a household because of abuse and other issues, and where they might be able to continue to go to school. Can you give us some insights into what your thinking is?
Yes, so there was a horrific case where I have a student in my district who was getting sexually assaulted by their parent. And DCFS got involved after the student made these allegations against the parent and said, okay, we're not going to need to take you into our custody as long as you go live with your other parent. And if the child had been placed with a foster parent, they would have continued to be able to go to their same school, and there would not have been any interruption for that student's education. Unfortunately, the way that it works, if a student goes from one parent into the household of the other parent, that does not trigger the foster parent rule as far as continuing to go to the same school. And so, unfortunately, because of the allegations that this student made, they couldn't go back to their same school district. And so they lost all their friends, all their teachers, etc. And it just didn't seem right to me that you punish a student for reporting horrific abuse. And it's bad enough that the student's going through this abuse, let alone having to go all over the place with their school. So this bill makes it so that they can remain at their school, even if it's going from one parent to the other parent, because of allegations of abuse or neglect.
As we wrap up on this, is there an immediate effective date on that if it passes the House?
I believe it would take effect at the end of the year.
Senator McClure, thanks very much for your time. We certainly appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.